in this module, we're going to talk about brands and branding. Amazon has made a big shift in the last several years towards emphasizing brands. They really want sellers to actually have a brand on Amazon. So they've opened up a lot of additional features, which we'll talk about in one of the other modules where I'll show you all the things you can get with brand registry. And that's where you have to have a trademark, have it registered with Amazon. And then they open up a lot of additional reporting features, a lot of different advertising features, a lot of different just features on your listing. But a lot of people get confused on what a brand actually is. Now, it's not necessary to have a brand to sell on Amazon. You'll see some YouTube gurus and stuff say the only way to sell on Amazon is to create a brand. That's the only way you're going to have any success. That's not true. Now, Amazon is an excellent platform to incubate a brand. So maybe you don't know exactly what your brand is going to be right now and you want to kind of play and test the waters. You can build a brand on Amazon. There's been a lot of brands like Anchor and several other brands that have actually started on Amazon and now become huge in international household names. But they got their start on Amazon. So because Amazon has the audience and they have the buyers, it's a great place to actually start a brand. But you don't have to have the specific, every little thing about the branding done when you first start. Now, what you don't want to do is just sell products. So if you're just selling random products on Amazon, you can actually make some money, but that's not creating a brand. A brand always goes around an avatar. So you want to pick a type of person that you want to target. So when you're starting to look at products on Amazon, rather than just taking a hodgepodge of things all over the place, start thinking about what type of person do I want to target and what kind of products would they need. So if you find a product as you're searching, maybe you don't know what that is right now. As you're searching, maybe you find something in the sports category, let's say, and you're like, this is a good opportunity. I could sell, I'm just going to use this as a hypothetical example, an ab roller. You could sell, I want to sell an ab roller, it looks like it's a good opportunity. So one of the things that you want to do when you're looking at products and you're still getting going is like, what else could I sell that a person that buys an ab roller would buy? What lifestyle does this appeal to? Not only I want customers who are buying an ab roller, but why are they buying an ab roller? Who are they? If you can figure that out, then you can expand off of that and start with an ab roller, and then maybe you go into some resistance bands, or maybe then you go into some weights, or whatever the other product is that type of person is buying. And not all sports people that use an ab roller want to lift weights. Maybe your avatar is actually post-pregnant women that just had a baby, and they want to get back in shape. And so one of the things that they might use is an ab roller to actually help smooth out their stomach. But they may not want a resistance bands. The next product they may want is something that relates to taking care of their baby or something. So it doesn't have to all be in the same category. So, but it goes after the same avatar. So pick a person. It's a lifestyle. Target that person, and you can find that you can really grow, and that can evolve into a really good brand on Amazon. So, like I said, it's not necessary to start with a brand on Amazon, but it's a great way to actually incubate and build a brand and evolve, and it may go in a different direction than what you initially think, and that's totally okay. But what is a brand? A brand is not just a logo. A lot of people think a brand is their logo and that's it. That's not a brand, that's a logo. A brand is how people perceive you. It's actually an identity. It's what people think and feel when they hear the name. When you hear Apple, you think and feel something. When you hear Microsoft, you think and feel something. And those are not the same two things. You know, if you go back to the commercials that Apple ran years ago, where they had the Apple guy and the Microsoft guy, the little nerdy guy that was a Microsoft guy, all into accounting and numbers, and the Apple guy that was all cool and into graphics and cool stuff and music. Those are establishing a brand identity, and that's what a brand is. It's a lifestyle. It's an affinity. You know, when someone buys a Louis Vuitton purse for $1,600, yes, it's typically a better quality purse than what you get down at Walmart for $50. But when someone is willing to pay that kind of money for it, they're saying something about themselves. They're saying something about the brand. The fact that they have that Louis Vuitton bag makes them feel a certain way, makes them feel special or successful or whatever it may be. That's what branding does. And so that's what you got to think about when you're starting to create your brand on Amazon. Now, you can sell your product without a brand. And there's some people out there that say, if you want to sell sell your products to down the road in 3 years, you got to have a brand. That's the only way you're going to sell your product. That's not actually true. A lot of the aggregators now, they will buy your product and roll it into their brand if they think it fits. Now, having a brand can be good, and it can be, if you're a strategic buyer, will often buy you for the fact that you're a brand, but it's not absolutely necessary. Now, what I like to say is that you're not a brand on Amazon unless you have at least 2,000 searches per month for your brand name by itself. So if you go in and type in your brand name and there's not at least 2,000 searches per month on Amazon, you're not a brand yet. People are not looking for you by your name. They're looking for just products. And so most people, the beautiful thing about Amazon is most people don't search by brands. And that's why you see in a lot of categories, these no-name companies are beating out the top brands in the space. Like in home and kitchen, some of the top, Cuisinart has some of the top appliances, and they're doing all right on some sales, but there's other unknown companies that are competing right next to them that are not a big brand name. So that's the beauty about Amazon, is you can wiggle your way in and compete against some of these biggest brands that have spent millions of dollars, or if not billions of dollars in decades building something by running commercials and establishing a brand. You could instantly come in and be positioned right next to them on Amazon. And if you do things right, you can actually then, that's why I'm saying you can incubate and you can build your brand using the Amazon platform. And it's a great place to do that. Another way you can utilize brands on Amazon is you can license. You could actually go out and license products from actual other brands. And so that can give you a leg up, especially if the brand has over 2,000 searches or more per month, and you can get a license deal with them. We talked about that in another module, and we have a whole module from Paul Miller that's going to be talking about that later on in the course, actually how to get these licenses and differentiate yourself. That can be a great way as well to establish yourself on Amazon for the ones that do get those searches and are brand centric. But most people don't actually search by brand on Amazon. Like 75 to 80% of the searches are for a product, for a need. They're typing in a stovetop cooker or slow cooker rather than Cuisinart or something. And so that's what the beauty is you can squeeze in there and you can do well. Now, you can create the brand, you can create the logo, you can create the identity you want, but ultimately it's your customers that are going to decide what that brand is and how that makes them feel. So you have only so much control. The customer has most of the control on how a brand evolves, and you've got to influence that the best you can by providing excellent customer service, really good quality, going above and beyond, doing the unexpected for your customers. You've got to doing events. You could even be sponsorships or giving back to or charities or whatever it may be, whatever your customers identify with, really emphasizing that. A brand takes a long time to build. It's not something you're going to do overnight. Brands don't just happen. They take time, they take money, they take energy. The brands are an extension of yourself. I mean, it's a personal image and association, and that just takes time to build. So don't think that you're going to build a brand overnight. But within 2-3 years, backing it with some social media, doing everything right on Amazon, you could build a true brand that could really, really explode. And Amazon is really emphasizing that now with their storefronts, with a lot of the additional tools and features that they have for brands. They really want to create that brand, and they don't just want people just selling products on the platform. So as you're looking for products, be thinking about how can I develop this into a brand and what can I do? And remember that you're selling to people. Don't just sell products. You're actually selling to people. That's super, super important. Once you do have a brand, you want to make sure it's consistent. You want to make sure that you've picked 3 fonts or 2 fonts or whatever it is, and everything you do is those same fonts. The colors that you pick, you actually want to have, these are the colors that are in everything. The logo is consistent across everything. The messaging is consistent. McDonald's is a brand. Whether you eat McDonald's in the United States or McDonald's in Kiev, Ukraine, or McDonald's in Morocco, it's the same thing everywhere you go with slight modifications in the menu. You know what to expect, and that's important when you're doing branding as well. Remember, your ideal avatar it's not a demographic. It's not, I want 60-year-olds that live in this type of house and drive this type of car. It's more of a lifestyle type of thing than it is a demographic kind of thing. That's an important distinction when you're developing a brand. Remember that it's your ideal customer, not necessarily your ideal demographic, and people get those two things mixed up. One of the things you actually might want to do as you're creating your brand is actually create a brand identity guide. It's like a little 2 or 3, 4-page document that says this is the logo, these are the fonts that we use, these are the colors that we use, these are the Pantone colors. That way you can always give that to all your graphic designers, anybody creating content for you, your package designers, and everything stays consistent amongst all your product lines. So hopefully this has helped you a little bit on knowing what a brand is, and look forward to seeing you in the next module.